Hi, my name is Troels, and in this video we're going to take a deep, comprehensive look at our deep, comprehensively sampled Greek percussion. And we don't use the term deep sample lightly. This is actually over 26,000 samples of Greek, beautiful Mediterranean percussion. You can look here at our mixer page. We actually have 5 different microphones for each of the drums. And the library is sort of comprised in 3 different categories. You have our large percussion, then we have small percussion, and then we have sort of experimental tonal percussion where we took the traditional drums and sort of made them into more than their acoustic counterparts. And the large percussion here is comprised of the Daouli drum, which is both an 18-incher and a 22-incher. And then we also sample both a small and a large Tubaliki drum. Let me show you what they look like here. This is the Daouli drum, it's played with sticks. And then you also got the Tubaliki, which looks a little bit like a Darbuka, sort of more Middle Eastern flavor, but it has a somewhat softer tone to it. But they're definitely in the same family as well, if you're familiar with the Darbuka drum as well. And then we also have, and I'll show them later, we also have a beautiful, and this is sort of in the smaller realm percussion, we have our Bendir percussion as well, which is a unique frame drum, really probably my favorite. There's actually strings going behind it as well, so it resonates deeper. And then we also have another tambourine. This is more in the Persian style, even though it is from the Mediterranean, where you get all the metal rings that sort of resonates more. And then we also have a variation of the Rek drum. It's called Rek in that region. It's also known as the Rik drum in the Middle East. So there's definitely a lot of crossover between the sort of traditional Mediterranean percussion and the more Middle Eastern type percussion. We also did some castanets and some finger cymbals as well. But again, 26,000 samples of absolute beautiful percussion here. And if you're familiar with our user interface here, you can see all the core articulations are actually preloaded here. You got all the microphones here, so you can control all 5 mics and whatever you want to do in terms of that, and really dialing in the sound to your mix. And then we also have an additional options page here where you can really do more crazy stuff in terms of creating flow note repetitions and let the notes repeat by themselves and have sort of natural artifacts and control like AHR envelopes and all that stuff. And on top of that, we also have our Chaos Effects, which contains both 2 different reverbs, a stereo delay, the degrader, EQ, and an arpeggiator as well if you really want to go in and sort of mingle the percussion. But let's just get into it. Let me play a little bit here with the Daouli drum, the 18-incher first, which has a beautiful, powerful sound to it. And if you play multiple keys at the same time, you can sort of create like almost an ensemble, like little bit Born Identity kind of sound. So even though these are solo drums and the entire library is solo drums, you can do that ensemble thing. Let me try to play the same groove again and then just add another instance here and play a little more, add a little more to the Daouli 18-incher here. I'm going to take another instance here and then dial it up 7 semitones and use that sort of more for soloing as well. So you have 2 instances of the Daouli drum 18-incher. And just to give you an idea here, we're actually listening to 2 different microphones. Let me just try to load the different mics here and just play a little bit. So you can hear the different drums. Let me just start here with the close front. And then the close back. And the overheads. You can hear that a little further away. Semi-close. You can hear there's a little more room to them. And then the room mics as well. And when you combine them, you can create really unique mixes. In this particular instance here, I was just using the close rear and the semi-close. I think that has a sort of cool, rich sound to it. But let's move on here. Let me show you also what it sounds like with the Daouli 22-incher. This is a little more beefy in its sound. You know, the pitch is a little lower, of course, and just check it out. It has a phenomenal sound. It's almost a little bit like the Dole drum, which we also have sampled in great lengths. And if you look down here on the keyboard, you can see we have a variety of different articulations here, done multi-sample and with round robin, of course. So you can mute the drum like this. And of course, you've got a variety of other articulations as well. And then you have more sort of stick. This drum is played with sticks. So you have more of those. And then you have those really sharp sounding, almost snare drum, Dole-like sounds. And then down here you got assorted effects as well. So these are great to add like as little articulations when you're playing. I'll show you that a little later as well. Let me try to play another instance here of the Daoli. In this case, I actually tuned it up 5 semitones, so it has a much more sharper sounding, almost like a Brazilian kind of samba sound, dole / Indian dole / Mediterranean percussion. Really cool. And that's the Daoli drum. I think it's beautiful because it's somewhere between a dole, but it also has a sort of that Mediterranean, little bit softer characteristic to it, tonal at times as well, and I'll show you that as well. So it's a gorgeous drum, again, sort of in the Realme frame drums, played with a stick as well. Next up is our Tuboliki drum here, and as I mentioned earlier, it has somewhat a reminiscence of the Darbuka as well, but it's also its sort of unique character by itself. So obviously in this case you got the drum here, like the sort of core sounds. You have more of those snappy, and then down here you got, and then those really snappy sounds. We just recorded them because they're hard to do with multi-sample. You can sort of do it, but you have both options. This is deep multi-sample, and you also have the, and I like to sort of use them for accentuation as well. Let me also show you the large Tuboliki here as well, which again is a little lower on the pitch side. And one of the fun things about this library as well is like you can play around with tuning. In this case, I actually took the large Tuboliki here as well and down tuned it 14 semitones, and you can do some really beautiful, more soundtracky hybrid kind of stuff with it. And those bass notes were actually generated with a modified bend here. This is from our tonal patch, and I'll show you that later in the video as well. But you really have these beautiful sort of bass-like sounds. Super cool. And this is from our tonal experimental side of the library as well. And speaking of the bend here, let me actually show you what it sounds like in a sort of more core condition. We're down now looking at our small percussion, and just to show you what the bend here looks like, it's this beautiful drum here. And again, it has a string going through it, so it has that weird kind of resonance to it. I'm trying to play it here. Just really unique sound to it. And it also sounds super good when you tune it down. Let me show you here. This is 8 semitones down. And again, we also have the tonal patch where you can play multiple octaves and complete tonal control over it. But this is just a core patch, sort of tuned down 8 semitones. And if you're familiar with mallets, you can actually use this neat trick when you use Super Ball mallets and you scrape them over the surface of the drum, and you can create these awesome sounds. So these are actually in the library as well. We also have them in our Epic frame drum. Really cool sound. Let me also show you next up here one of our 2 tambourines in the library. This is our Epirousian tambourine, and it looks like this. You're gonna see it has all these rattles on it. It gives you sort of Middle Eastern quality to it. So you can hear all those sort of cool rattles on it here. Let me also show the Rek tambourine. This is a variation of the Middle Eastern Rik tambourine, but it's actually called the Rek tambourine in that particular region, even though they have very similar characteristics. It's just a really cool drum. If you're familiar with the Rik, it has that sort of super unique rattle quality to it. Let me also just show here our secondary. This is really auxiliary percussion, our small secondary section here, which predominantly contains castanets and finger cymbals. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we also have this tonal experimental category here. And let me actually just play all the different patches here. The sort of core concept here is just to have a tonal quality to it. So all these are selected samples from all the instruments you've heard, but all the ones that had the most tonal quality. So you can hear the bendia drum, the Epirusian tambourine, the Daoli drum 1 and 2, and then the tubaliki. And they sort of vary from motion picture sounds to almost like EDM friendly. I know it sounds totally strange, like you Greek Mediterranean percussion, how can that sound like EDM? But I think you're gonna understand what I'm saying when I'm playing with it. It almost has a lot of an EDM tropical sound to it, that very light marimba kind of quality to it. Really beautiful stuff and great for experimentation.